let's start our yoga practice and we will start laying down. So, coming to your mat, maybe grabbing a pillow or blanket for extra comfort if you'd like. Go ahead and lay down in some kind of comfortable way. Maybe you're finding Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs extended. Maybe you go for constructive rest pose today with your knees bent and your feet standing up at the edges of the mat. If you choose that way, I really like to let the knees come together at the center so you just don't have to use any effort really at all to keep your legs in that position. Go ahead and let your hands and arms find their place wherever that is. Maybe next to your body or on top of your body in some way. Maybe your hands can interlace underneath your head. Just keep arranging and rearranging yourself until you feel like you've hit the spot. And then when you arrive, maybe taking a clearing breath or two or a sighing breath. Just kind of feeling as if you could release any pent up energy or residual energy from your day. Maybe you just start clearing the slate with a couple of breaths. Noticing the back of your body and anywhere especially that touches the floor or mat. Letting that awareness help you to feel a sense of grounding, a sense of settling. And finding your breath and just kind of watching it for now. No need really to control it, just becoming the witness for a few rounds of breath. Noticing the muscles of your face and jaw. Letting go of any tension that you're able to there. And noticing your neck and shoulders. A common place for people to hold tension. Just check in with yourself. Go ahead and scan through the rest of your body in no particular order. Just wherever your intuition takes you, looking for anything that arises. Any sensations, any emotions that maybe even feel like they're tied to areas of the body. Taking a few minutes now just to continue to scan and notice. Let's check in with yourself. And if it's available to breathe through your nose, let's find the proper oral posture, sealing your lips, little tiny hint of space between the biting surfaces of your teeth, and resting or gently pressing your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. And if it feels challenging to breathe through your nose and you know it's not like a structural issue with your nasal passageways, but maybe kind of congestion or something, you might kind of forcefully exhale through your nose a couple of times, just seeing if you can clear the pathway a little bit. And you might try to widen your nasal passageways, just kind of flaring your nostrils, just kind of playing with it a little bit until you start to feel like you're breathing in and out through your nose with as much ease as is available. Of course, not everybody can breathe through their nose. Some people have obstructions or deviations of the septum or other nasal passageway parts. So if that's you, just finding a steady pace of breath that works in your case. And some days this is plenty of a yoga practice. So know that you're welcome to stay and lay here as long as you'd like. If you found any areas that need extra love or care today through our practice, just making mental note of those areas now, and maybe even a little soft promise to yourself that you'll tend to those areas with care. And before we begin to move, if you would like to set a dedication or intention, now is the perfect time to set that. Maybe calling to mind a word or phrase or emotion, something you want to focus on or grow. Or maybe you choose a person or people in your life who need a little extra love sent their way. And let's take 3 clearing breaths together now. We'll inhale through the nose, sigh through your mouth. 3 total, you go right ahead. Taking your time to come back to a steady pace of breath. And then beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe circle through your ankles and wrists a couple of times. And then letting your head kind of rock to one side and then the other side. Just a little warm up of the neck. Just allowing your head to turn side to side a couple of times. Alright, if you have a pillow or anything under your head, we'll move that to the side for now. Let's stand the soles of the feet up on the mat, bending your knees. We'll press the left foot down and then we'll begin to lift and straighten or almost straighten that right leg. You could hold on behind your right thigh for a moment here if you'd like. You can always have your knee bent or start to straighten it a little bit more. Let's circle that right ankle out a couple of times, just circling both ways at some point. And also pointing and flexing a couple of times, just gently, maybe at like 50% of your range. Cool. All right. And then we'll press our hands into the floor for some extra support. Flex your foot, so you're pulling your toes back toward you. And with your inhale, let's lower that leg down, either touching the heel down to the floor or hovering it off of the floor. And then exhale, point your toes and lift back up. So we inhale, flex, and lower. Exhale, point the toes, lift back up. Do it a few times, just go at your own pace. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Lots of things are happening. We're strengthening and stretching the hip flexors a little bit here. We are strengthening and stretching through the legs and feet. Just go ahead and do that a few times until your body feels like, maybe you don't want to even do one more. Gotten a little bit of work going there, but you're not all the way fatigued. Good. And then we'll stay lifted for just a second. And then bend your right knee and cross your right ankle behind your left knee. So we end up in that nice figure 4 position. And you might pause here if this feels like enough sensation for you today. Or you might take your right hand and press your right knee slightly away from you. I like a little bit of a swaying rock side to side with the legs, but you might choose to be still. If that still doesn't quite feel like enough sensation, you could reach to interlace your fingers behind your left thigh or even on top of your left shin. Alternatively, you could build your left foot a little block platform, if you will, maybe stacking 1 or 2 of your blocks and then placing that left foot on top of there. Just another option to play with if you want. And just make sure that your upper body, your head, your shoulders are as relaxed as they can be, hopefully supported on the floor. If you're really reaching and kind of stressing to grab the back of that left leg, it just might be a sign that you've gone a little too far, but you be the judge of that. Let's see about taking some extended exhales. So just a normal inhale, and then just see if you about lengthening the exhales. This kind of triggers what some call the stretch reflex. The extended exhales kind of tell the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, and heal side of the nervous system, that you are safe. And so your muscles have a tendency then to relax a little more and let you get a little deeper into your stretches. Sometimes it's very subtle, so just continue with those extended exhales if you'd like for a couple more breaths. Again, finding any little swaying action or circling of the ankles, any little add-ons you want. Good. Let's have 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in and out. If that left foot was lifted, go ahead and set it back down. We are in our figure 4 position now. We can bring the arms out wide for extra support if you want. We're going to find a little twist action. So just letting your figure 4 legs twist over to the left. Pause if you'd like. And at some point, come back up to the center and then let the legs kind of sway to the right. You can go back and forth a few times or kind of linger. We'll have about 5 breaths with this twisting, swaying action. I'll keep track. Just about 2 more breaths. And eventually coming back to center, press that left foot down a lot as you once again start to lift and straighten or almost straighten that right leg. Hold there, spread the toes out. And then release that right foot to the floor. We will switch sides, but first, pausing at the bottom. Just see what it feels like to have both feet on the ground. Can you tell if maybe the right leg feels a little, I want to say, fresher after some movement? Maybe you can feel that too. To me, the left leg just feels a little dull and the right leg feels nice and fresh. So let's switch sides now. We'll begin to straighten and lift or almost straighten that left leg. You can always hold on behind the left thigh. Give the left ankle some love with some circles in both directions. At some point, some pointing and flexing. And just moving the joints is a really good practice. Chiropractors will say motion is lotion. So we want to kind of lotion up the joints with some movement. Good, good. Okay, now we'll bring the hands out to the sides for some support. Let's flex the left foot, pulling the toes back toward the body, and start to inhale and lower the left leg. Again, maybe left heel touches down to the floor. Maybe it hovers up off of the floor, your choice. Point the toes at the bottom. Exhale and lift that leg back up. Go ahead and do that on your own time here, flexing and lowering with the inhale. Exhale, point and lift. Go ahead and continue to do that for a couple of rounds, just determining how many that is for yourself today. Listening in, especially to that left hip flexor, hip joint area. You might notice some strengthening and some stretching there, as well as pretty much the entire leg, the ankle and the foot. Whenever you're done with that, we will pause at the top and then bend the left knee and place the left knee behind your right knee in figure 4. And side to side, could be different, so no need to head right into the same variation as the first side unless you'd like. Options again being maybe pressing the left hand into the left knee, opening that left hip up a little more. Or maybe reaching to interlace your fingers behind the right leg or on top of your right shin. Just making sure that your head and shoulders are still comfortably softened down into the floor. And adding on any motion if you would like. Just kind of like a little bit of a circling of the right knee. Just feels like it's getting into a couple different angles, but you're welcome to hold steady if you prefer. And this is one that just kind of unfolds with time, so maybe extending your exhales here. We'll have about 5 more breaths. Just about 2 more breaths. And whenever it feels right, lowering that right foot if it was lifted, coming back to your neutral figure 4. And then we'll take our twists here. So just allowing the knees to twist over to one side first. Linger there until you feel like switching sides. And then just bringing the knees back up and over to the other side. You can go back and forth a couple of times here, or maybe just once on both sides with some holding. I'll let you know when we have about 2 more breaths left, but for now you are good. Just keep exploring. And now just about 2 more breaths. One more breath. And then coming back to your neutral figure 4 as you lift and straighten or almost straighten that left foot one last time. Spread out the toes. Give that left foot a good stretch. And then bend your knee. Set the left foot down. Pausing at the bottom with both feet on the ground to just notice the legs and hips. Ah, there it is. Now they're both feeling fresh. Let's take a long body stretch next, reaching arms and legs long. Give those hip flexors a good stretch and reach. Give the arms a good stretch. Good, good. Let's find banana pose. Walk your heels over toward the right edge of your mat. Notice what it's like to have both heels down on the floor here first. Grabbing onto the left wrist or arm, direct your upper body toward the right. So you're creating this little banana pose or banana shape side bending. Reaching the limbs to the right and stretching through that left side. Taking 2 more breaths, imagining or sensing that you're breathing more into that left lung. Getting those little muscles between the ribs, the intercostals, a little stretch. And then we'll switch sides, walking the heels to the left edge of your mat. And then grabbing hold of the right arm or wrist and directing the upper body to the left. Feeling that right side now. Breathing and sensing into the right lung, the right side. Just one more breath in. And one more breath out. Come back to the center. Let's roll onto either side through the fetal position. And then press your way up to a seat. But right away, we're going to come to hands and knees. Take your time. There is no rush. Eventually, hands and knees. And if you like extra cushion for the knees, grabbing a blanket, or if you really want some good cushioning, grabbing or getting a kneeling mat. Those are so nice. Spreading the fingertips out, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. With your inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your tailbone, and then your gaze, finding your cow pose. And then exhaling to round your spine, tucking your chin, pressing your hands into the floor so your shoulders feel a stretch too. Cat pose. Explore now. Inhales to cow. Exhales to cat. Flow with your own pace here, your own breath. Inhales to lift. Exhales to round. Keep going. When I'm in cow pose with my belly lowered and my gaze lifted, it kind of feels nice to kind of jut your chin out a little bit, like you're stretching your throat and your underside of your jaw a little bit. You might try that. It looks kind of funny, but feels great. So I don't care. All right. Whenever you're done exploring cat and cow, let's find our way to extended child's pose, bringing the knees out wide, the big toes touching behind you. Sink your seat toward your heels, maybe lowering to your forearms for a few breaths. That could be your final spot too. Or walking your hands toward the top of your mat and then letting your head and heart sink toward the floor. You can have the palms flat on the ground, reaching toward the top of the mat. You could join your palms up at the top, almost like you're using both hands to point to the top. Alternatively, you could bend your elbows so that your kind of prayer hand position, your hands end up behind your head, maybe the thumbs even touching the nape of your neck. And one more slow breath here. When you're ready, rising back up to tabletop. Let's thread the needle. So we're going to bring our knees back to our tabletop position. With an inhale, open that right arm out toward the side wall or lift that right hand way up high. Hold here with your exhale. One more breath in, reaching. And then exhale, thread the needle, right arm dipping down and through. Lowering your shoulder and side of your head to the floor if it reaches. Finding a comfortable place for that left hand. Maybe it stays where it's at already. Maybe you curl the left fingers, left hand up toward the top of your mat. You choose. 3 more breaths. One more breath. And then plant your left hand back by your face. Press your way all the way up and reach that right arm high once more. And then lower the right hand to the floor. We'll switch sides. With an inhale, lifting that left arm high. Stay there for your exhale. One more breath in. And exhale, thread the needle. Left arm dips down and through, setting your left shoulder and maybe left side of your head on the floor or props. Right hand could stay in place or walk that right hand up toward the top of your mat. We'll have about 2 more breaths. Just about 1 more breath. And then planting your right hand by your face, press your way all the way up and reach that left arm high. And then set your left hand down on the floor. We will get set up for downward dogs. We'll grab those blocks if you have them. If you were kneeling on anything, we'll move that to the side for now. And props or not, we'll still spread the fingertips out nice and wide. Active hands here, curling your toes under. Start to pick up your knees and then reach your tailbone high. Press down into your hands. See if you can kind of grip into the fingers. Reach through the shoulders. Find your breath. And then if you'd like to pedal your legs out, maybe bending and straightening opposite knees. Deepen the breath here. Make sure it's flowing. All right. When you're ready, bend your knees. Look up toward your hands. But with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. So you end up in a ragdoll forward fold at the back of your mat. Upper body's nice and loose here. You might nod your head yes and no to make sure your neck is relaxed. You might find a bit of swaying here or just hold steady. Just make sure you have at least a micro bend of your knees, if not a deep bend of your knees. The deeper you bend your knees, the more you're going to get kind of into the low back. A nice low back stretch. Breathing. All right. One more breath in. One more breath out. Bend your knees and then start to walk your hands up your legs as you slowly rise to stand. Take your time. When you get to the top, we're going to find a nice little bounce and shake through the body. So whatever feels intuitive here, you might kind of lift and lower the shoulders, maybe lift and lower the heels, maybe shake the arms, shake the legs. Just get a good shake, like you're waking up the whole body. We're getting that circulation going. This is also good for the lymphatic system. Energetically, a good shake can feel like you're kind of clearing the slate again too. Maybe some exhales with a sigh if you feel like it. All right, and then we're back up we're at the back of the mat rather. Let's flip the palms to face the front of your space. Take a look down at your feet. Just make sure they're at a comfortable distance. They're feeling good. Toes are online. With an inhale, let's reach the arms around and up, joining the palms up at the top. Option to look up as the hands join. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. We're reversing that. We're inhaling to send the hands straight up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Arms reach wide, hinge at your hips, and then release your hands toward the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the knees, shins or thighs. Exhale, walk your way all the way out to your high plank. Hands could go back on those blocks if you have them. Big breath in here. Exhale, lower your knees, move those blocks to the side, and lower your chest. Breathe like normal as we set up our baby cobra, pressing the tops of your feet down into the mat. You can give your feet a little bit of space. Sometimes they feel better widened out, your choice. Press your feet down so much that the thighs and the glutes start working. Your knees kind of pop up off of the floor. Little tuck of your chin, just a halfway tuck. Inhale, lift your head and chest, using your core muscles, using the muscles around the spine. And then exhale to lower back down. Let's use that entire inhale to lift back up. Entire exhale to lower back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to rise up, baby cobra. Stay lifted here for your exhale. We're going to have 2 more breaths lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Feel your strength. Last breath in. Exhale, lower. Take a breath of rest. Soften your knees back to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Press your way up to tabletop. Exhale to child's pose. Knees a little closer together this time. Inhale. Exhale. Let your inhale help you to expand through the back, the ribs. Exhale, releasing. We'll do a couple spinal waves here. So with your inhale, we're going to rise up to tabletop with a cat back. So we're kind of leading with the shoulders. We're rounding on the way up. And then exhale, cow pose. Belly lowers, gaze lifts, and float that seat back towards child's pose. We'll do it a few times. Hopefully it'll start to feel like it's flowing. We're inhaling, rounding up, cat back to tabletop. Exhale, cow pose to child's pose. Go ahead and do that with your breath a couple of times. See if you can get kind of a wave-like feeling going through the back. Just about one more time. Inhaling to rise with the cat back. Exhaling to lower. Cow pose to child's pose. And then stay there in your child's pose when you arrive. One more breath when you get there. With an inhale, come back up to tabletop. If you want to grab those blocks for your hands, you sure can. And then use an exhale to get back to downward dog. Feel free to widen the feet out, taking a wide-legged downward dog if you just feel like doing something different. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in and out. Then with an inhale, we'll bend the knees, look toward the hands. Exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Take your time. Hands joining overhead at the top. Feel free to look up as they join. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. Breathe like normal here. Finding what feels like your center today. Coming back to you. Noticing anything that needs noticing or demands noticing sometimes. One of my favorite yoga teachers told me, I think this might be a quote from someone else, but she told me, if you listen to your body whisper, hopefully you'll never have to hear it scream. And of course, accidents can happen. Sometimes your body's screaming and it's no one's fault, but I do find that if you listen, taking the time to listen to those little whispers, wow, that surely helps. Take moment to find any whispers. And then taking a clearing breath, we're inhaling through the nose, sighing through the mouth. We'll do a couple half sun salutations here, just standing. So let's inhale, reach the hands high. This time we'll exhale with a baby back bend, goalpost the arms, squeeze the glutes as you lift your heart and your gaze toward the sky. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up, reaching arms around and up. Join palms at the top. And exhale, hands to heart. Little tuck of your chin here. Feel the back of your neck. Inhale. And exhale. Let's take a clearing breath now, in through the nose. Sigh it out. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, baby back bend. Make sure to squeeze the glutes. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down through your feet and inhale to rise back up. Join palms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Maybe close your eyes here if you'd like. Finding your center, listening again for those whispers, if there are any today. Two more breaths. And then let's take a clearing breath, inhaling through your nose. This time hold at the top for just a couple of seconds, just for a little tension to build. And when it's time, open mouth, exhale, sigh to let it go. Blinking your eyes open if they were closed, opening. And then you can lower your hands down if you'd like. We'll prepare for a little bit of balancing. So if you need to shake out the arms or shake out the legs or any other pre-balancing rituals you may have, now's the time. I like to kind of feel into my feet, almost like I'm stamping my feet down into, today I want to say wet concrete. I just feel like that would feel good right now for my feet. Or Play-Doh or something. Okay. We'll do a marching twist series today. So I like to have my hands at my heart center like so, but you can always hold on to a chair or the wall or take other arm expressions as you see fit. Let's shift all of the weight over to the right foot. And when we do that, we want to create kind of a sense of equal pressure throughout the outside of the right foot and the inside, just all edges of the right foot. So create that sense of balance. Find one-legged mountain pose with your left knee lifting. Left toes could stay down on the floor for support, or maybe you lift that left knee up to about hip height, your choice. With your next exhale, let's straighten that left leg. Again, heel could be down on the floor, or it could be lifted. Inhale, lift that left knee. Here comes the twist. With your exhale, we're twisting just the upper body so that knee stays steady. Twist the upper body toward the left just a little bit, as slow as you can. Inhale to come back to the center. We'll have more tries if that one didn't go well. Exhale, straighten that left leg, touch your left heel down. Breathe like normal as you step into that left foot. Today we're going to do a little something different with that right. We're on the ball of the right foot, or kind of the tippy toes of the right foot. Let's take a little hamstring curl. So we're just going to pull that left heel in toward the left glute. And then see if you can lift that right knee to one-legged mountain pose. Right knee comes forward. We're flexing that right foot. Take a breath in. Exhale, straighten that right leg. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Here comes the twist next. Exhale, little twist of the upper body toward the right. Do your best, forget the rest. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Breathe like normal as you touch that right foot down and step into the right foot. We have 2 more steps. Hopefully you have a little bit of space there. Let's curl that left heel in toward the left glute, little hamstring curl. And then transition to one-legged mountains. We're bringing that right knee up. That left knee up. Flex that left foot. Take a breath in when you get there. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Left knee bends and lifts once more. Exhale, little twist, upper body twisting slowly toward the left. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, straighten that left leg, touch your left heel down, breathe like normal as you take your step forward. Curl that right heel in toward the right glute. And then transition to your one-legged mountain pose with the right knee lifting. When you get there, take a breath in. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lift. Exhale to twist a little to the right. Takes a lot of coordination to twist. Come back to the center with an inhale. And exhale, step that right foot down. All right, hope that went well for you. Let's come on down to a little squat here first. If you know what kind of squat you like to do, just get right into it. If you're not sure, I might suggest grabbing a couple of blocks or the edge of a couch or something that you can kind of put as a landing spot for your seat. So we'll step the feet out a little bit wider, toes facing out, heels kind of in. And then we'll just start to bend the knees, and hands can come to the knees for support. This is kind of what they call like a sumo squat. I should look into that. Make sure it's an appropriate term to be using. So our hands are here. You might kind of twist one shoulder, dipping one shoulder down to the center and then the other a couple times. You could play right here and just stay here. Or you might start to lower even deeper, maybe coming to kind of sit on your blocks or your support if you have them. And then kind of hooking the elbows on the inside of the knees, bringing your hands together at the center, kind of pushing into your knees. Try to puff your chest up a little bit here so you are not as rounded forward as kind of feels natural here. We want to puff that chest up. And see about finding some extended exhales here. If ever you feel that you've gone too far and you're like, I need to get out of this immediately, just go ahead and sit right down. No problem. Let's have about 3 more breaths here. Just about 1 more breath. Stay longer if you'd like. When you're ready to transition, let's come down to the floor. Come into a seat first. Let your legs go long in front of you. Just give them a little wiggle or a tap. And then we'll lower down to your back. So whatever feels right, just go ahead and lower back. We'll pull the knees up in toward your chest. And just take some free movement, some rocking, a little bit of weight over the low back, over the sacrum. You can even kind of get down into the glutes or hips. And just some free movement here. Taking the time to give that area a little massage. If you're on a hard floor, you can kind of feel the massaging pressure a little bit more. If you're on carpet, sometimes that effect can be a little lost, but just see what's there for you. And then listening into your body again. Notice if there are any last movements, poses, or stretches that your body is asking you for. And then go ahead and move into those. maybe a happy baby or another long body stretch or something else entirely. And then, whenever you are ready, finding your way to your final resting pose today. Could be very similar to how you started, maybe constructive rest pose with your feet up at the edges of your mat and your knees bent and resting together at the center. Maybe you head right into that classic resting pose, Shavasana, corpse pose. And we'll rest the eyes, either in just gazing in a certain direction or maybe closing them. Rest the shoulders, maybe even tucking your shoulder blades in behind your back so you can feel a sense of opening through the chest and release through the back. And noticing the back of the head, specifically which part touches the floor. You might just kind of micro move your head side to side just a tiny bit so you can just feel a little hint of pressure rolling from one edge to the other and then settling on into a spot that feels like the center. Noticing all of your toes. Noticing all of your fingers. Noticing and then softening through both arms together. Noticing both legs and softening there. Becoming aware of the rise and fall of your chest or belly when you breathe. Release any tension that you're able to notice and release just by sheer will. Nice slow flowing breath through your nose for a few last rounds. Softening your jaw. Even softer yet. And remembering that you can stay here and rest as long as you'd like. When you start to feel ready to move along, just imagine all of your energy coming back into your body, re-alivening, re-inhabiting your body, coming back to the physical. Go ahead and take some very small little movements as you reawaken more. Maybe a wiggle of the fingers and toes. Maybe an opening and closing of the jaw. Maybe swallowing or yawning. And And slowly but surely continuing to move a little more and a little more. Maybe reaching the arms overhead for a long body stretch. And at some point soon, starting to roll onto either side, finding your way to the fetal position with your knees slightly tucking in, bending, and maybe your bottom arm can be a little pillow here. Just fully resting on your side for one round of breath. No rush. At the bottom of that exhale, start to think about making your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll cross the legs if that feels okay to you and join the hands in front of your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Together, let's bring thumbs to the third eye center, just between and above your eyebrows. Taking a breath in here. And with an exhale, let's take a little bow forward together. Peace. Thank you all for showing up for yourselves and for being part of class.